Hi everybody, Jorge Rivera here with the People's Resource Center and your Tenant Tip Tuesday. Welcome and thank you so very much for watching and for joining us. As always, let's get started with some grounding. Today, let's just do some stretches, maybe get in our body. We can just move around, do some movements. Just straighten up our back. Stretch out. In, there across our chest a little bit, stretch out those shoulders. And then maybe just stand here and shake your legs, wiggle your feet. If you're sitting down, feel your feet touching against the floor. Just getting grounded, getting into your bodies, paying attention, and getting ready. All right, okay, well, let's get to it. Let's get to your Tenant Tip Tuesday. Right, so your Tenant Tip Tuesday, we are going to continue and finish off on our theme with unlawful detainers. And today we're going to be talking about specifically your actual eviction trial and when you go to court. So we want you to be ready, we want you to be prepared, we want to make sure that you are good to go when you have to show up to court. So there are some tips that you should know in what you should be able to do and how to prepare when you're going to trial. So before the trial, just be sure that you're gathering all of your documentation, everything that we've been advising that you do, all of the pictures, any letters that you've sent out, any documents, any reports, if you've had habitability issues and you have code enforcement reports, any of those items. Make sure that you have all of your rent receipts, your rent payments, any canceled checks, anything like that. If you have witnesses, your neighbors, family members, or anybody that can help testify to your case or anything like that, be sure that you're bringing them along with you. And also be prepared with the list of questions that you're going to want to ask your witnesses and or maybe the other party. So just to get started, be ready before you actually go to trial and try to get as prepared as possible. And next, on the actual day of the trial, be sure that you are dressing as best as you can for court appearances. Unfortunately, there are judgments that are placed on actual people and tenants that go to court. You are presenting yourself in front of a judge, and just try to dress as best as you can and in with nice apparel that you can. When you get inside the courtroom, make sure that you go straight to the bailiff. When the judge calls your name, stand up and say your first and last name and say that you are the tenant. And when you're actually making the deal with the other side, be sure to ask for exactly what it is that you want. If you need more time to move out, ask for more time. If you need them to forgive any rent that has been past due, ask for the forgiveness of rent. If you need help with moving costs or relocation assistance, ask for that as well. Be sure to ask for everything that you need. You can settle for anything. Everything is negotiable in this process. So when you go to trial and you're asked to try to settle outside of trial, be sure to ask for and negotiate for the best case scenario on your behalf. Now, in the case that you're not able to reach a settlement, then the next option is to actually go to trial. Before you decide to go to trial, to be sure that you have all of the evidence and the witnesses and the documentations, and you're going to be able to present a really strong case. Because as soon as the trial begins, then everything is going to go there forward. So the plaintiff, actually the landlord, goes first. They present their case, they call any witnesses, and then after the plaintiff asks their questions of their witnesses, you can also ask questions of their witnesses as well. And once the landlord or the property owner is done, then you, the tenant, will go next. You'll clearly tell your side of the story, and you should just get right to the point. Tell the judge the legal reasons why you should not be evicted, offer the judge the proof and the documentation that shows and supports your case, and you can then call your witnesses and ask the questions of your witnesses as well. And just remember that once you present witnesses, then the property owner and their side will also be able to ask questions of them too. When you're presenting your evidence to the judge, be sure that you're presenting the evidence as you are telling the story or offering your explanation. So for example, if you're stating, I'm not paying rent because the owner refused to make repairs to the property, then show the pictures of the uninhabitable living conditions at that time. Show the judge pictures one at a time. Don't present everything all at once because it might be a little bit confusing and overwhelming, and it may not tell the story that you want the judge to know. And then when all of that is done, then the judge will make their decision, and if you're still in the courtroom, they'll present the decision to you. The decision usually includes 4 things: who won the case, if you must pay any undue rent, and if the winning side can get money from the losing side for the money they paid in court fees, and if the losing side has to pay for the winning side's attorney's fees. Make sure that you understand the decision, that you read the decision very carefully. If you do not understand something, now is the time to ask so that they can further explain it to you. So what happens if you win? If you win, you do not have to move out. You may have to pay past due rent within 5 days or something of that sort. And if you do not, then the actual property owner will win the case, and then you will have to move out. So if you win the case, you will be able to stay, but you may have to pay any past due rent. So you must be prepared to be able to do that, otherwise then you'll end up losing. If you want the other side to pay your court fees, you must file a form with the court within 10 days so that they can pay the court fees. What happens if you lose? If you lose, you will have to move out soon, but depending on what the parameters were for the actual trial, the judge might be able to give you some amount of time to be able to move. You should ask the judge for more time if you need it, especially if there are special circumstances. And with all due respect, you can say, with all due respect, Your Honor, I request 30 days to move out, for example. You do not have to move out the very same day that you lost your trial. Once the judge gives you the final date of your tenancy and when you're supposed to move out, if you do not move out by that time, that is when they will actually inform the sheriffs, and the sheriffs will get involved, and then the sheriffs will be sent out to the property to ask you to remove your items and yourself from the premises, and then they will actually lock you out. So be sure that you follow the instructions of the court and of the judge. If they give you a certain day and time that you're supposed to move out, that is when you should move out. Otherwise, the sheriffs will become involved at that point. So just to wrap things up, remember, just get ready for the trial, get all your documents in order, all of your proof, get your story, your witnesses, everything that you need. Be prepared to go to trial. If you do not have an attorney, you can defend yourself on your own. We do recommend that you do get an attorney because the settlement is usually better in your favor when you have representation. There are free legal services available. If you need help finding those, please let us know. Contact our tenant counseling hotline, and we would be sure to put you in contact with those resources. So we hope that this has been helpful. We hope that this has been informative, at least give you some idea of what the trial process looks like, what the court date looks like when you're being evicted, and hopefully you are able to be more prepared when that day comes, if that day should come. So if you have any questions, again, reach out to us. We'd be happy to give you a hand. Again, my name is Jorge Rivera. This has been your Tenant Tip Tuesday, and I am with the People's Resource Center. We are a nonprofit organization, so we do work on donations, so please feel free to give us a helping hand and let us know that our services are valued, and so that we can continue to provide these services to the community at large. And you can find us on social media at the People's RC. And we are currently going through a rebranding, so we actually might be coming back at you with a different name in a couple of months, so just stay tuned for that. Remember, like and share this video. We're trying to inform all of the tenants on what their rights are and trying to get the word out there. So please share, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe and click the bell notification so that you can get notified of any new videos that we post. And thank you so very much for watching. Have a wonderful day.